What's happening, people? Welcome to this very special episode of the Everything 9000 podcast. We have got Gabru Chel Chabileh in the building, one of or the best Bhangra group in the UK. We'll be discussing that shortly. Quick introductions. We've got Mr. Krish Chopra here. He was Red Geordie in 2014 for GCC and also captain in 2016, which I can't wait to get into. Yeah. We've got, obviously, Ishan the Cloud Boy, but he was doing bits with GCC in 18. He was captain. He was choreoing in 17 too. Then we got the puppet master, as I like to call him, pulling the strings from the background. We've got Deepak Sethi. He was captain in 14, captain in 17, captain in 18. Yeah. All right. Then that says it all. Then we got Mr. Sukhi Dhillon, captain in 17 and captain in 18. How are we doing, boys?
Good.
Yeah. We're gonna get into all of it. Yeah, we're gonna get into 14, the build up to it. Obviously, Deepak, we need to get all the juice from you, from the history as well. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to touch on the lows as well. Everyone's always like, "Oh, GCC, bare cocky." Let's talk about it. Let's talk about 15, 16. Then we'll get to 17 and 18 as well. But yeah, man. You want to start off with anything else, or?
Come on, man. Let's go.
I've got a surprise lined up. Yeah. Oh my God. Do you know what? I just want to get it out of the way. I want to get it out of the way because I can feel it. I can feel you lot just want it out of the way too. Oh, yeah. So I think we should do it. Jay, pass the bag, man.
Oh shit.
Pass the bag.
So you told us about a surprise. We've been talking about it for...
Yeah, food.
Food would be
take that surprise. Yeah. That's a good surprise.
So, in our last episode with our guest, we did a little game called 9 with 9000. So where we asked 9 short fire questions, and you got to give your responses. Okay. But we're adding a little twist today, and the twist is we have partnered with Soho Oak, right down the road, provide some of the best veggie food in Birmingham. They do meat food too, and they've mocked up a special sauce. They've called it the tomorrow sauce because you're going to feel it tomorrow. And what the rules are? The rules are this. The rules are, I'm going to ask you an uncomfortable question, right? And you've got to answer, or you can have a shot of this.
I feel sick.
I might have to change the name to today. So right now.
Yeah, right.
We were starting off the podcast with this. So
we're starting off the podcast with this. So I'm going to start off with Deepak. I'm going to pick random people. So it's not always the same person starting at all the time. I love it. I love this.
So wait, does everyone have to answer the same question?
Everyone has to answer same question.
Same question. Wait, you're going to ask a question.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to answer it.
Everyone's going to answer it one by one. Or you don't have to answer it. You can take a shot of this.
It's the same question for everyone.
Same question for everyone. Okay. There's 9 questions. 9 with 9000.
Cool. Okay,
yeah? Let's go. Number 1. Best mixer to come out of GCC, Deepak. Prem, Hardo or Prince?
Hardo.
You can give reasons, whatever you want to say, but if you want to keep it short, you can keep it short.
Yeah,
keep it short?
Yeah.
Sukhi?
Hardo.
Hardo as well?
Tough one for me, man. Can't lie.
You worked with all of them, innit?
I've worked with all of them. I think they're all sick in the different ways. They're like they all do.
Premise technically is like amazing.
Exactly, and like Prince, like that musical knowledge he has is like mad. So
Hardo's learnt a lot of Prince too.
I can't.
Is this question about GCC? These mixes are GCC,
like, for example, I like to dance to Hardo's mix the most. But if I were to listen to a mix, then I know I'm gonna enjoy listening to like Prem or Prince's mix more. Right. So in this question, we've got to think like, what is the criteria that classifies as the best?
If this is a mix that's going to a competition now,
then
Hardo.
Hardo.
Like,
what was yours?
Hardo.
Yeah. But if it's my car, then it's not Hardo.
But if you're going back 5 years, 6 years, then Prince and Hash is a like different game.
That's a good point. I forgot about Hash. Yeah, he contributed to the 14 mix. Okay, that was good, man. I was expecting a bit more. You know what I mean? But it's okay.
That was a good one.
This is a bit of an easier one. It should be easy. You lot fucking dealt with that like it was nothing. But all right, if you could only, we'll start with Sukhi. If you could only have danced for one team, GCC or your uni team, which one would it have been?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's a good question, bro.
So I think it's a difficult one because you get different things from both experiences. But I think overall, probably GCC because of the whole,
the mandem.
Yeah, being with the lads, having a good time.
Yeah.
Those good memories. So we'll go based off that.
What do you say?
GCC, without a doubt. No, there's no limitation. You're competing against teams that are better than they are at university. The university scene is relatively easy compared to the external scene.
Right.
Comes with different challenges, but the amount of creativity, what you can do, you almost take the ceiling off.
Okay.
Like going from university to all guys, 16 guys, and just going for it.
That's a good question, though. That's a solid question. For me, it'd be GCC, but I'd like to add on to what Sukhi said. Like, you learn different things from both. They're like completely different experiences. I feel like when at university, you're like giving other like kids an opportunity, right? Where at GCC, bruv, we're just dancing for the man. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely different experience, but yeah, man, GCC no limits, man. It's more fun process as well.
Yeah, I'd say GCC, but I think the experience at uni is better.
Right.
Yeah, that's how.
More enjoyable.
Yeah. You get more out of the uni comp than at GCC.
Right.
That involves a lot of teaching, a lot of bringing dancers up. All this
Whereas
stuff.
at like, GCC comp, you just
Everyone
expect
knows.
everyone knows
That's
anyway.
it.
And you know what? Yeah, I think for most of us here, like, if it wasn't for the uni comps, yeah, that taught us how to teach, to bring those skills into GCC. You could argue that if it wasn't for the uni comps,
You don't do GC.
yeah, like GC could be a shambles. I mean, we don't know.
All right, cool. Going well, boys. Going well. That's 2 out of 9. Number 3, and you know what? I'm gonna go with Krish first now.
Okay.
AJ or Vasta,
Now.
whatever it means to you.
Just to follow your
That's too
answer, however,
open-ended. Right now, Vasta.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
But I think Vasta's always been better dancers than AJ. AJ have come with better sets in the past, but overall, right now, I'd say Vasta.
By the way, just remind you, don't have to answer these. You know, that's cool.
I have to answer these questions.
You're not scared of this source, yeah?
I'll answer all the questions and bang a shot.
I knew he was going to give it 10. Shout out Ishwar. Ishwar lined up this source for us from Soho Oak. And he was like, Ishan, he thinks he can hack it. He's going to be crying.
See, don't worry.
Go on.
AJ or Vasta? Yeah, look, Vasta, even if you look at numbers, yeah, like AJ have actually only won like once, and apart from that, they've not even
Won
come
twice
second or
now.
death.
2 stars.
Oh, okay, if we include Bhangra Wars, right? But they've always been like around a third place team. Vasta have been coming second for a hot minute, and like I think now overall, like Vasta for me, I think they're the better team. But I've like from like 2014 to 2016. Yeah, when like the old AJ boys were like running it, I loved AJ. I'm like biggest AJ fanboy. Like honestly, like so. I think back then AJ for me, but now current times.
Because you're from London as well. Like there were thoughts you might have even joined AJ at one point.
Yeah, I used to go to AJ classes, and that whole I loved it then. But AJ now is nothing like the AJ back then. It's like completely different. It's not even the same. So. But Vasta, their like identity still been there, isn't it? Those guys are still like helping. It's thorough, and I rate them more. Like at this comp, it was Vasta were clear, gone clear.
Yeah, Vasta over AJ. Like Chris said, better dancers, consistently at competitions, second thereabouts. Yeah, Vasta the better, and obviously now they've taken it clear.
Yeah, I'd say Vasta as well. I mean, you can't ignore what AJ done in those early years. They did smash it, they did do well, but I think with Vasta winning Folkstars a couple of times, 2-3 times now, and the music competition, so they're pretty much, you know,
They're always
won
pushing
everything,
abroad
really.
as well, you know. They're always like pushing
Yeah,
boundaries,
that's
like
true.
you know, going to North America, stuff like that. They're doing well for themselves,
Yeah.
man.
And they're quite distinct from other teams.
Right.
Solid identity.
Yeah,
innit?
solid identity.
And bro, I mean, they do save off every team, bruv. Like, you know, if
Try the
everyone
fuck
needs
up.
help,
Yeah, they
everyone
help
needs
out,
help.
they
Yeah,
help out.
they'll help you with whatever. So
I think that's mad underrated as well.
yeah, no one talks
No
about
other
that
team
that
does
much.
it.
Yeah, we would never do that.
Yeah, props to Vasta, man. Props to Vasta.
They are good. GPD do that as well, just to shout out them. They're
Shout
really
out
good at helping
GPD.
people
Yeah,
out.
man. Do a lot for the youngers as well.
Yeah.
All right, question 4. I'm gonna start with you now, Ishan. NS or APPD?
Yo, don't know, man.
The source is right there, bro. We can line up a shot, man. Don't worry.
I've never actually thought about that in my life. NS or NS or APPD. I think over time, like,
Jay's in the room, by the way.
they don't even exist anymore, innit? Like, NS don't exist. But when did they disband? Like,
nor do APPD, right?
2016. Not properly, no.
Nor do APPD. So
APPD competed in 18. I think overall the quality of the quality of dancers at NS has been better, right? But for example, then APPD won like that folk.
They danced that live set very well.
Yeah,
Unreal.
Yeah,
but
they danced that very, very well.
we're gonna get to that.
bro, I'm not gonna. I don't even know. I think they're like as good as each other, man. Like, I don't know.
That's fair.
As good as each other, like.
That's a cop out, bro. It's got to be one or the other, or you take a shot, bro.
For me, I'd probably have to go with NS, you know. But I'll be honest, my opinion on this is like it's not strong. Like, I don't know.
Tiny bit before your era, maybe Krish.
If someone said something, I could be swayed. Like, I don't know.
I'd say APBD by margin, but that's just my personal opinion. Only because NS haven't really bought any, like they've been consistently in that second place when they were competing in it. But they don't really bring anything like
memorable.
Yeah, it's just they're just kind of there, and they dance their set well, and then that's it. But APBD, they went to America.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
WBBC.
And I can't lie, they have dances that I would take any day. So,
yeah.
But I don't have that with NS.
I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. But yeah, APBD got some bad boy dancers.
Suki?
NS. Obviously.
NS. I think you can't ignore what APPD done. They won Folkstars. I think that's one thing they have got over NS. But yeah, no, I'd have to go with NS.
Yeah, sorry, that too as well. That dancing at the Folkstars, but that was unreal, man. I couldn't see that live, but because what were we doing? We went there in 2015. Yeah, on the video.
I think it's tight, man. They're both like. I don't want it to come across like very brutal, but they are both like two teams that one should have both done better for themselves, and two, like by the time they produced that, they put their product on stage, they were both relatively average, like in amongst the whole scene. They were good. They're average though. So, but APPD, it's that Folkstar set. It's that dancing at that Folkstar set that really like that will pip it. They went abroad. We took Teg off APPD as well, which always.
Yeah,
so,
both solid teams.
Yeah.
Shout out Hadbal, shout out Poonian. Smashed it for the documentary. No one asked me about the documentary. I'm allowed to mention the documentary. But alright, cool, nice. It's going well, boys. 4 questions, yeah. No cop out so far, yeah. Alright. Deepak, I'm starting with you.
Okay.
And this, if you answer this, then fair play to you, Sam. Right. Better GCC choreo, Hash or Rami?
Fuck, man.
Open that bottle, man.
Open the box.
Open that up, bro. Have a sniff.
Fucking hell.
good question. That's a very good
That's
question.
a good question.
I don't know, man.
Should I pour it?
I've got an answer for that.
Yeah, you've got an answer.
I've got an answer.
It's not your turn yet, bro.
I'm just trying to break down sets and just think, man, they're both sick. Do you know what I mean?
Bro.
They're both sick.
You just say a name, bro. Just say it.
You know what? Deepak's going to be the first to try this now.
Man.
We'll keep it small.
Lumpy as well, man. Love it.
Alright, we'll do that.
Love it, man.
Bro, what do you mean?
You didn't even
I'll
take
hold it, but I
That's
still
a-
might answer. Do you know what I mean? I'll keep it here for a sec.
Okay.
Just to choreo for GCC or UOB or just overall.
Overall.
I don't know, man. I vibe with both of them. Sick.
This
Like,
is-
I know. We know it.
Vibe
By the
with
way,
both.
if the viewer, you don't know, Deepak choreoed GCC 14 with Hash and Rami.
Yeah.
And obviously worked with them both very closely at UOB as well.
UOB as well.
Bro, just take the shot. Just take the shot. It's not worth it. It's not. They're both watching this right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, let me have a sniff of it. That smells fucked, man. Yeah, I'll take this.
Little bit.
Can't even watch, man.
Slowly getting there.
Is that enough, or you want more?
A bit more. We gotta go a bit more.
Is it nicer?
Not bad.
Not bad. All right, you'll feel it tomorrow. Right. Oh yeah, same question, Sukhi.
Obviously, I've not worked for them, so I don't know what each of them do. I can only see the output from their sets, and I think based on that, Hash, because the only differentiating factor here is TBS 14 and 13, I think, from the outside. So on that basis, but I'm sure Rami's probably just as good if Deepak's taking a shot for that.
Hear that?
Yeah, my view is probably exactly the same as Sukhi. It's like, you know, from the outside, they're both sick in it. I haven't worked with any of them to an extent where I can even have like a solid opinion. So yeah, man. Like if I had to pick, the truth is I don't know because I haven't worked with them. But yeah, the UOB 14 set is more memorable than the
Iconic.
13 one. So for that reason, probably would have to be Hash.
They both won, by the way. But yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I know them.
But okay, this will be interesting for you as well, Krish, because obviously you worked with Hash in UOB 14. You co-captained with him.
Yeah.
But you know, your first time you danced for UOB was
Yeah,
under
13,
Rami.
Yeah.
So what are you saying, bro? Or shall I get a couple?
First I'm going to say, yeah, all three of them, Deepak, Hash and Rami, I'd say are equally as sick as each other.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just going to preface with that, innit?
You can preface. I'm not going to accept it.
No,
though.
that's not my answer. But I'm going to say by a margin, Hash is my like preference.
Right.
Why? Because as far as I'm aware, anyway, my favorite segment in GCC 14, he was the main like puppet behind that. So
He's really good with formations as well. Isn't
yeah,
it? He's like-
which is a Jordan segment. So
Right.
that's one of my favourites, and I think he was behind that. I
Yeah.
think, like the main guy. So yeah, I'm going to say Hash like marginally, but Rami creativity wise is a mad thing.
Yeah, shout out Rami, man. Bust a like from Australia. All right. Who should I start? I'm thinking, who should I start off with? Do you know what? I'm gonna go Deepak again.
I'll keep this. I'll start here. Yeah.
By the way, this is number 6. Better GCC dancer, Teg or Jag Randhawa?
Hard questions, man, isn't it? Jag obviously danced more sets. Jag is my Geordie as well. I got it back.
Green Geordie in 14.
Yeah. Technically so sick. Like when he was dancing in 2013, 2014, I'd say he was probably up there. Like, it might even be like the best technically the best dancer in the country.
In 2014, I think he probably was.
Right, sick dancer, like unbelievable dancer. He never really like. I remember like discussing it at Mooch with him, like smash, like come on man, you can go further, you can do better. He never reached like.
Shout out Mooch.
Yeah, shout out. Mooch. We're also sponsored by Mooch.
That's the next surprise.
Yeah, I think Jag for me. Yeah, Jag is sick.
I'm gonna go Krish,
Me is Teg like all day.
because that was your Geordie.
My Jordan, no, not only that, I think he just has a natural flair. Like he doesn't even need to try, and he just has that presence on stage. That technique, I say he's got it down on lock. Stamina on lock, Nakra on lock. There, I can't fault Teg. So, choice is Teg.
Sean.
Yeah, for me it's Jag. Just like, I don't know, I looked up to him a lot more. I remember being in training with him and I was like, yo, I have to be like him. Because he's someone I saw, I was like, yo, the way he worked, the effort he put in, I've never seen by anyone else. Like, so I was like, and yo, I was a fan, man. I wanted to dance like him, but
Jag was that guy,
like
that everyone would be knackered and he'd just bang out the set again.
yeah, but I never got that vibe from Teg. But obviously, shout out Teg, he's a sick dancer as well. But for me, it's Jag.
I don't really have a strong opinion on this. I think trying to think of times where they've both danced, but I think
14 GC is the only one together anyway.
yeah, I've danced with Jag twice, I think. So both GC, so that's more fresh in my memory. I'd say Jag based on that. But obviously Teg is obviously sick as well.
Yeah.
He's one of the UOB legends. So
Yeah.
but yeah, not a strong opinion.
I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna stick with you here, Sukhi. So better GCC dancer now, Hardo or Buller?
Harder, I'd say. I think Harder's one of we've had a few discussions on this actually together. I mean, Harder's one of those underrated dancers. It's always been a tough job for me because I'm always dancing next to the guy. So
is your Geordie?
Yeah, and he's always been sick. I think it's hard to pinpoint a set or a segment where Hardo's not really done well.
Hardo's really consistent.
Very consistent.
You can count on him always. Yeah,
he's one of those guys in training. He might be like not 100% there, but I don't know what happens on the day. He'll keep his smile. He'll smash everything. He'll nail every single beard guy. So he's one of those guys. I think is quite overlooked. Really, I think you guys would probably agree with that.
100%.
What are you saying, Deepak?
For GCC or just overall as a dancer?
Overall, I feel like there's fair comparisons. Both UOB, both GCC.
You made a claim the other day.
Yeah,
about Buller.
Yeah, Buller UOB 2016. For me, watching it live, I was backstage when I watched it live. The guy was unreal. Like for me, as a performance, he was joined up with Teg as well. Yeah. A guy who's so much bigger than him, wider than him, more presence, like straight off the bat, more presence.
A fit Buller
is
it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, Hardo, man, Hardo knock out a set like.
He'll do it tomorrow.
And smash jar and smash jar as well. That jar in GCC 18. Yeah. If I had to pick one,
you have to pick one, or you can take a shot.
For the way that Buller carried, he didn't carry 16, but he's just unbelievable. That drum, everything in 20.
I thought I carried anyway, but yeah. That's your opinion.
I'm gonna say Buller.
Buller?
Yeah, a fit Buller.
A fit Buller, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
A fit Buller.
Because Hardo gives you that consistency.
Yeah, a fit Buller that shows up to every training. He's just got a bit more grace than Hardo, I think.
Nakara, yeah.
This is very hard.
Shout out me, man, for writing these questions.
I think Buller is a lot more graceful than Hardo. He has this way of just flowing with his moves, but Hardo is more like of a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the difference here, because obviously their stats are very close, but Buller's got that flow. Hardo's got that power.
That's a good point, man. They both got a lot of dubs.
This just boils down to your personal preference in what did you like seeing, more of that power, that explosiveness, or do you like seeing Toraja sex? So it's hard. I've always looked up to both of them and always think that I want to be like that from Hardo, this from Buller, but I can't. It's very hard, bro.
You taking a shot then?
I say pull the shot, man.
Pull the shot.
Yeah, I can't.
And you know what? Because you, Ishan, you're having twice the amount of Deepak.
Shout out both of them, man. I think they're both
super sick. Both my brothers. Both all my brothers. Here we go, man.
Good.
Light work. Come on.
Yeah. You actually backed it as well.
Backed the whole thing.
Backed it.
We'll see in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Big man.
Fair play.
Go on, Krish.
Fucking hell.
You ready for the eyes are starting to water, I love it. This is exactly how Ishva described it.
Fucking hell, bro.
I'm going to say Harder.
Okay.
And I'll make a claim as my opinion here. I think since 2016, he's been the best dancer in the country.
Right.
And I've said it multiple times. I think, like Ishan was saying, he is a powerhouse, but I think his grace is different to Buller's kind of grace. They both have it, but I think how they show it is completely different.
Right.
Overall, as a dancer, I'm talking nakra as well, technique and consistency. I would say Harder.
Fair enough.
But that's just by margins, yeah.
Yeah.
They're both sick, unreal. For the sake of the game, for the sake of not taking it.
By the way, we've got ice cream and shit in the freezer if you need it. But yeah. So that was number 7. Number 8, better dancer. I'm gonna stick with you now, Krish. Kartar or Sukhvasta?
This isn't hard, man.
No, that is a bit hard.
That's not hard, bro. This is not even. I think you should rehash that whole question. This ain't close.
No, because
bro.
Hold on. This is what I'm thinking, yeah? I don't know who you're thinking.
It's so easy.
You're saying Sukhi. Okay, fine. But, however, Kartar in APPD Folkstars
Was the best
is
dancer.
the best I've seen someone dance in a live set in the UK. over Suk.
At one point, Qatar, I think he was banging sets different, man.
Different. Suk overall.
Right.
But APVD
Suk
in
is Suk as well.
that one time, bro.
So you picking?
This is peak.
I don't.
I think we need to get a shot, bro.
Yeah.
This is actually peak, man.
I think this is easy, bro.
I'm gonna I know why they're saying it's easy.
I know why they're saying it as well.
Overall, overtime is better, yeah. but I'm just gonna say Qatar just because of that APVD set.
Thank you, man. You saved my question because these men were mocking it. Go on, Deepak. Let's go.
Yeah, Suk. Say no more.
Is it because of, like, obviously he brings it straight from Punjab?
Yeah, just say no more. Suk, Vasta Punjab. He's even got the number plate to go with it. Do you know what I mean? So that, bro, it's Suk.
Yeah.
It's not
Easy for me. It's Suk Vasta. I even saw a video of him like about 2 days ago. Bhangra class. He's still got it. He's still sick.
Yeah,
Like everything. Like I think he is another dancer in the UK that is like overlooked. People don't talk about him. I don't know why. Fuck. But like he is one of the best, if not like he's fully up there. So for me, easy.
pound for pound ones.
Yeah, I'd go for Suk Vasta as well. I think Suk Vasta is probably the best dance in the UK, in my opinion, best dance in the UK.
Jeez.
I think
I've had this question.
I think I've thought this for a while actually. Second place is probably very close or just pretty much joint between Qatar and Hadbal, in my opinion. I think them
Shout
two
out
are sick.
Hadbal, man. Yeah.
I think them three dancers are actually next level, in my opinion.
Fair play. Deepak, you're going last on this one.
Okay, fine.
I'm
Gladly.
gonna go with Sean first on this one. Last question: better dancer, Aman Danjal or Simba?
I think so. It's Sukhi Dhillon.
I think I know my answer.
Are you sure?
A better dancer, yeah? Okay, now, bro. For me, I'm gonna say Aman Danjal because when I started, I looked up to him a lot. Like I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be better than him. But one thing you can't take away from Simba is his presence. Like, you know, in FIFA you get those stats, innit? Like attack, all this stuff. Like Simba's presence is like almost like it's like at 99. So like even like I don't think Simba's like technically always there, but if he's in the room, he makes you watch him. Like Simba's definitely more of a performer. Yeah, whereas Aman Danjal would tick those technical boxes almost a bit too perfect. But I'm just putting this on.
You kind of set the template for like Black Geordie as well, innit?
Yeah, like for me, Aman inspired me a lot more. So Aman Danjal for me.
I'm gonna go Krish second, Sukhi third, Deepak fourth.
I'm gonna say it's a tricky one, you know. I'll tell you why. Yeah.
Just, you know, this template for Black Geordie.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have these guys as Black Geordie until Prince and Dundar was Black Geordie.
Right.
They're the two. That's the small Black Geordie. And that, I think.
Shout out Dundar, man, Mr. GCC.
Prince as well. I think the small Black Geordie came from. Is it SGPD had a small Black Geordie that was fucking killing it, or NJ? But that's in the UK. That's the first small Black Geordie. So let's not get that bit twisted as well.
Original Black Power Rangers.
Original, yeah. Let's not.
This is what we got Deepak here, man. He's got the knowledge. Wikipedia.
Get that correct, right?
Yeah. Shout out Dundar, man. Shout out Prince as well.
I'm gonna say Simba.
Okay. But you said it was a tricky one. How come? You said it was a tricky one. How come?
I was trying to weigh up, man. I think I'd say Aman. If you tell him to do a move in this way, he would do the move in that way. But other than that, I think presence, nakra, grace is my opinion. Mode, I think when you weigh it up, Simba brings a bit more. So yeah, I'll say Simba.
For me it's Simba. I think for me it's quite an easy one. Just would rather watch him dance. If I was watching two sets over him and Aman Danja, I'd prefer to watch Simba. Nothing more than that really. I can't really break it down.
I think the only other thing that Danjal actually won Best Dancer abroad as well. I don't know if that impacted on any of your thinking.
For me, it doesn't really bother these best dancers.
Some people have won Best Dancer. Clear other.
Exactly.
Better.
You know what? We'll get into some of them then.
I think it's really hard when you're judging to actually like that question. You're watching sets. You're not really looking out for best dancers. It's about who actually. Not to say if you did win it, you don't deserve it. I'm sure there are times where people do deserve it, but I'm just saying that doesn't really, for me, make him better than Simba. I think Simba's the better dancer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, we got through the questions, boys. 2 shots, was it?
Wait, Dee didn't answer
that. Dee didn't answer that.
That's good.
I think it's a tough one because I think Simba can sometimes be a bit too much to watch. Like personally, he knows that. I'll say that to him anyway. Well, everyone's hearing it now. So, but overall, it's like in the essence of what Bhangra is, a smile, nakra, enjoyment has to be Simba. Like it has to be. I was never a big fan of like that cold stare whilst dancing, head relatively still. That in terms of like what Ishan's saying about technically, like AJ's technique is also
not a fan.
Yeah, so that technique, are we big fans of that? I don't know. Personally, I was never a massive fan of that AJ technique. So for me, Simba.
Okay. Yeah. This is quite a good segue actually, because what I was going to talk about next was building up to 14.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get more thoughts from you because I didn't get this from you last time when we got you in for the doc. But it's like I wanted to talk more about that rivalry with Ram. Was it just Ram? Was it Mahi as well? What was it? What sort of brought it together? Because we got other people in here. I think the likes of Bullers, etc. Hash as well. It was like you were always trying to get one over on each other.
There was no rivalry.
Right.
That's what I'm going to say. Like for fact.
Okay.
When I think Imperial won TBS in 2010.
Yeah.
In 2009, Queen Mary's Imperial 2010. Then UOB won in 2011. 2012 Queen Mary's or whichever way you want to like dice it up, like UOB. Then 13 UOB, 14 UOB. So those are the years where like I was at university between 9 and 12, and then still like popping into UOB when I was at King's. It wasn't. I think if you ask like Hash, Rami, the guys that were choreoing at the time, that was never a rivalry. That was like UOB wins TBS. You go to UOB wins TBS since 2011. UOB wins TBS.
Right.
With significantly superior. Like you put the sets side by side, there's no real comparison. The rivalry came more with like NS.
Right.
There was a general like dislike there. There was loads of stuff with NS. There's like even from the days of like Dav, Sahib, those guys with the Nithin, Poonian, all of that is like a history in itself. So there was more of a rivalry with NS,
right? More
than AJ, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, well, within Ram or whatever. Ram said to me it was in the lead up to 2015. He goes, if we don't win 2015 or whatever, we're going to start considering what are we actually doing going to TBS. You can't keep showing up and just taking L's like that. Every year you put your heart and soul into it.
Let's get into some of that with NS for 14, man. Let's discuss TBC 14 now. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the stuff with NS. Obviously, Ishan, you weren't dancing then, nor was I.
I was at sixth form watching these videos.
All of these guys. All of these guys. Be interested, obviously Sukhi was at NS at that point. So let's get into it, man. Well, there were a couple of sessions where
there was quite a bit going on. I think I was new and quite fresh with the whole competition things. It was my first competition, but I know when I already got selected NS, GCC were looking for a dancer. I think they must be quite desperate to ask me at this point. Krish was like, "Look, we need a dancer. Are you down?"
Was it 2014?
2014.
Oh, we got Sat, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sat.
Shout out
Sat, man.
Doing this fork, man.
Yeah, so the competition was all new. Obviously, it's fresh with you lot. You lot had some history with the olders.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't understand it, but I remember the training sessions. There was a training session where you guys wrote names down
put stuff in brackets next to our names or something, didn't you? Do you remember?
It was like Lieutenant Villa, Lieutenant Nitin, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
It was
funny. We were laughing. Like, we were all laughing about it.
Right.
But then we grassed you lot up. So
yeah.
then they got upset. They were like, "Why did you guys grass us up for?"
Nice. But TVC 14 in general, then.
The rivalry started. I would say. Nothing personal, but back then, when you look at it, you just think, oh man, NS, these guys are dickheads, man. Just being real. Like, that's what it was. Like, cocky, like they run their class on a Tuesday.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with
Tuesday classes.
As in, like...
They come to the classes.
Yeah, it gets hyped up a lot for like a 30-40 second video. That's what it was. Right. That's what we felt like it was. It's just a 40 second... They did that video with APPD where they shone the car lights on it.
In the car park.
So much hype built up.
The Notorious Jet one.
Yeah.
That was a sick video though.
Yeah, but like you built a lot of hype. Then there was a general dislike between GCC and NS. A lot of it started in 2012 because a lot of UOB dancers just ended up at NS.
Right.
That was the true history of it because you had Jazz Pooney in there, Amritpal Agar, Bhangra, Palmy. You did UOB guys just ended up at NS. I was never a fan of NS. Like
why?
I just felt like the olders were there, like VJ and stuff like that. That's not my environment. The other guys like Dav, Prince, VJ, shout out VJ, sick dancer, Sahib, they had this GCC thing going on, which was just like, they were doing what they wanted to do. It was cool. It was just more the type of sets that I liked.
Right.
Even after 2012 happened and the whole, like at TBS, externals dancing or whatever, I still made the decision to want to join GCC. And that brought about a lot of like conflict. Like Jazz was not happy with that. I remember Hash not being happy as well, like just being like, oh, why have you done that? Like these are guys that kind of like fuck shit up at TBS 2012. And then it kind of steamrolled from there. Like that's really where like bits of animosity built up. There was general dislike, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
So you joined GCC
2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Did GCC compete in 13 anywhere?
Yeah,
Bhangra Wars, and you danced there.
Yeah, did 2012 Bhangra Wars. Did 2013 Bhangra Wars.
And
Right.
WBBC 13.
Yeah, I didn't go abroad though for that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then how did it come about? Sort of you guys taking over then. So that's yourself, Hash, and Rami.
Oh, so these guys are supremely talented. Dav, very talented. Sahib, talented. VJ, talented. Like very talented guys, but no organisation. That's honestly what it really came down to.
Right.
Also, they like to keep a relatively open format where people could throw in ideas, which was good bands and stuff. But sometimes you go to a session, spend 5 hours there, and very little, like you've done 8 beats of a set, because everyone was allowed to put in ideas.
Right.
And then we just had too many average and shit performances as a team of that talent.
Right.
Like everyone would show up and just be like, oh my god, GC going to be sick. Look at the names on that list. It's going to be a sick set. It was never the product that you should have.
Right.
And then I remember Jazz, I still remember it, after Wars 2013, when we showed up with an 8-man set, everyone showed up with 12, because it was like a misreading on like how big the stage is, how many people can you get on the stage. I think we came 6th or some bullshit. Like it was terrible. I remember I was just sat there. I've come from UOB. UOB wins, right? Now I'm in a team where we've got all the talent in the world, the best mixers in the country by a country, and like we can't put it together to play. It was always about winning. Coming third would have been worse than coming 6th, in my opinion. So I remember I was just sat there like, fucking hell, like what's just happened? And then Jazz came up to me and goes, like standard GCC. And that really stuck with me. Like that was like, okay, cool. And then we were talking to Dav, like, look, man, you've got me, Hash, and Rami. We know how to run things. Let us take it. VJ, Sahib, they were like a little bit disenfranchised by everything. Like, again, blah blah blah. So like, okay, you boys take it over. And then we just went from
the rest is history. So, Krish, obviously you were about sort of 13, 14. Were you meant to be part of the 13 team as well?
Bloody hell, that's a memory, innit?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. 13 was supposed to happen. I'll be honest, yeah. I don't know why I went to GC in 2013 anyway. Like in terms of dancing, I wasn't there,
Right.
but I got drafted in for whatever reason.
Because you just done
Just done
TBS 13 with
yeah.
UOD.
And I guess they needed dancers. I mean, I don't know, but was supposed to dance in 13.
What happened there, man? I want to know what happened there.
I can't remember clearly. I think Deepak might remember a bit more, but I think there was a practice towards Comb Day, and I was ill. I woke up in the morning, but I was ill. Like,
Right.
or something.
Sarah knows this story well. Shout out Sarah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, go on.
I was ill. Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. I was ill on that morning, and I've messaged Sahib that I can't make it.
Right.
I'm ill. Yeah. There was a back and forth conversation. Again, I can't remember the details in it, but there was a back and forth conversation, and then I said, "Look, I can't come." Basically, I was lying in bed, and then he messaged me later and said, "Bro, like obviously, can't have that. You can't dance."
But this was like what? How soon before comp?
1 week.
1 week.
1 week before
It
comp.
was the last practice.
Yeah.
It was the
No,
last
no.
two practices.
It was towards the end. It wasn't the last practice.
It was close
It
to
was
man.
like-
it was like the Saturday. There was going to be a practice on Saturday and Sunday. I don't think you could make Saturday. And Sierra came, and then Sierra was doing Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Not-
So-
along those
So Sarah
lines.
came in for 2 practices.
Basically,
How long had you been training up until that point?
till when they started.
couple
Oh, was it from the start?
yeah.
So
Wow.
so how did you guys feel when you heard about this? Like Sahib putting his foot down like this.
Shagged, bruv.
Shag. But
That is a fuckery.
yeah, it's a shit.
But I think like that like
But I actually think because I wasn't that great, it was their time. It was their chance to like get me out.
Yeah, but with 2 practices left. Because
It
Sarah
was-
came in and he did what he could. Obviously, you can't expect anyone to pick up a set in 2
yeah,
sessions.
No, you can't.
Made
I
couple
don't know.
mistakes.
I think that sums up a little bit of part of like the older GCC times.
Right.
Like, you know, decisions that aren't like really thought about like throughout. Like, okay, look, so if he comes in, can he really do it? We have to teach a guy formations. We have to do this. Is that really possible in 2 sessions? And then expect him to dance at a competition. Whereas we've got a guy who knows everything but can't make a couple of practices, but we might do another practice on Friday night before the Saturday comp. Do you know what I mean? That would be the logical approach to this. I think that just sums it up.
Do you remember though, at the time it happened, what were you thinking?
Like, I was just...
I think we fell out a bit.
We fell out, me and Krish fell out a little bit.
No way.
Yeah, big time.
Why?
I think Krish was obviously very unhappy at the situation, right?
At the time, I thought he owed me to leave me in the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it was on him to
back it.
to back that.
Because he knew you from UOB
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
just
like,
as the older,
yeah.
that's what I thought at the time. That's
Right.
why we fell out.
But it's so hard when you're not running a team.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you've got Sahib who's running the team. Essentially now I've gone from like being one of the captains to now just dancing, giving a few ideas here and there. Yeah, it was just a tough situation all round.
Right. Fair enough. But then, yeah, 2014, obviously you came back in. Red Geordie now. How was that?
Amazing.
Because you did pick in the colours in a... There's a whole thing about this, isn't it?
Yeah.
You picked the colours out of the hat.
And the worst part, me and Teg were red, and neither of us were at that
At that first practice. Yeah.
Because at this first practice you picked the colours out of the hat.
Yeah.
So you'd stick with that even if it was the shittest Geordie.
Yeah, we just thought that
got red.
That's us.
Go on, who's the shittest in 14? It's a solid team, but who's the shittest?
This isn't this game, is it?
Nah.
I want to say another thing, like that built up to the dislike between NS and GCC was the older like GCC guys would make memes like was going to dance a competition but decided to do a wedding set instead. You know,
I've seen a lot of these memes.
Yeah. and that was like a big stigma within like. That was like a big sticking point within UK Bhangra at the time, where teams were like, no, we just do wedding sets, man. We don't compete. We don't care about competing. Whereas for us, it was all about
competing.
That's it. I didn't start Bhangra to dance at next man's wedding, right? But there was stuff like that, and then I remember Billah making comments to Prince, like I think Prince really got under his nerves. Like it was just, it just got more and more out of hand as like the weeks and months and like.
So it genuinely got intense.
There was something on comp day as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
With Prelin and Prem?
Yeah. I think Prem went through the wrong door, like he ended up there, and like they start making like almost personal digs at Prem or whatever it was, and then not really to like go over that again. but we had to go get him out. He's like, these are wankers, man. Like, we'll see in an hour, like, what you guys have been working on for 3 months, what we've done. And, like, Jesus Christ, wasn't close with it. But, yeah, I mean, back to the colours.
It wasn't.
Yeah, back to the colours. It was literally out of a hat.
Literally out of that. And you were going to stick out of that regardless.
We've done the same thing in 16, don't you remember?
Yeah, but come on, man. That showed as well.
I don't know, we got quite lucky with that. Because then these two weren't there.
Because these two were arguably one of the best Geordies, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like, size-wise, height, everything worked well.
That was your best comp, dancing, hands
by
down.
far.
Yeah,
By far.
And that's it, all downhill from there.
No, I never competed after that.
Alright. But you know what we did? Because I think it was like one of the first 1 or 2 that even came out of the hat. And it was like, okay, red. Like, we had 2 hats, colour and then Geordie, that we'd already pre-decided, obviously.
Right.
It was like red, and everyone's like, oh shit, oh fuck, red. And it's like Christian Tech. It's like, these fuckers aren't even here. And just like, tell them they're grey Geordie. I remember that ran for a bit as well. There's no red guys, because obviously we don't really have like a hierarchy, but there's grey. So you guys are in grey. And Nick from GCC had been grey at a competition as well. So GCC and using grey was not like out of the question. Yeah, that ran for a bit as well.
But I want to talk about, before we get to the set, I want to talk about the mix for 14.
Yeah.
For me, it's the best mix to come out of the UK.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
GCC 14 is the best set ever made.
Right.
My opinion.
Not even just UK.
Everything. Mix, choreo, dancers there. Formations. Everything is the best set ever to me.
It was ahead of its time.
100%. I think
You do that set now, probably still wins.
yeah, the fact that you can watch it now and still enjoy it,
Yeah,
it says a lot,
yeah.
innit?
That's a big compliment.
Yeah.
That mix is one of the reasons I actually got into Bhangra. Because like
It's that dark vibe.
no, like I watched TBC 14 on YouTube because my friend Sukrana performed there.
Yeah,
Right, so I was like, John, let me see what Suk's doing, and I was
Shout out
like,
Suk.
this is just shambles. I didn't know this. I was like, let me see who won this comp. Yeah, I remember I was in sixth form, like bunking my lesson, yeah, and just like watching.
He's pulling sickies in as well.
Let's see GCC. Like I don't know what it was, and then I was like, I didn't. You have to think. To someone that knows nothing about Bhangra, formations and moves, it means nothing. You don't know what this is, but I love music, and I was like, this is sick. So I started listening to the music, like on the way to sixth form, on the way back. Then I started watching the videos, and I was like, this is sick. Let me get into dancing. So yeah, that mix.
It's just really cohesive. Like it complemented the moves complemented the mix, the vibe. Obviously, what you talk about, like what you guys represented with the background with Zaib. It was cool. What you wanted to do just all worked, and and that was obviously Prince and Hash on that.
Yeah, unbelievable how that came together. Like, and also for us, it was also, we walk out. GCC has an awful reputation within the UK at the time.
At that point,
awful reputation.
We had no fans.
We had 0 fans in there. Like, my family didn't come.
You want to?
I
you got no fans.
I don't think anyone invited their families really.
Yeah.
Like, because it was just like, this is like, we walk out, it's starting, we just booze. Like, next up is GCC, and you just hear booze.
Yeah. Right.
So that's what we started to.
By the time it ended,
yeah, man, people on their feet and shit.
Really?
Yeah, there's a video.
Yeah, incredible, man.
Yeah. And you can just see it building as the set goes on.
Yeah.
Like, more and more people start cheering. Yeah. They start, okay, this is good.
because even to the lay viewer, it's just appealing with the formations. It's just appealing to watch. Shout out, man. Anybody want to say anything else on 14? Any
that
stories?
Is
Anything?
just unbelievable.
Unreal, yeah.
I still remember Hash came to London, and this is when it was like, okay, look, you three are going to run GCC. It was decided, and we were sat in Karahi Express, and he goes, oh, listen, man, there's this thing called Electronic Zamanna. I don't know who it's by, and he played it, and that's actually the intro.
Right.
Yeah. So he just goes, I've got this. Okay, cool. All right. And I was like, you heard a movie called The Matrix, yeah? We got some lyrics from that as well.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we're shooting a documentary. Like I said, none of you can ask me about the documentary. But yeah, we're doing the documentary. We got people in. We asked people what their top 3 sets to come out ever is. That 14, I think, was in everyone's.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone missed it out. But yeah, such a massive high to such a massive low. Next year, 2015, Folkstars. Obviously, it's different. It's not a music comp anymore. It's a live comp. Came 7th?
Did we compete?
We didn't compete there.
We didn't do youth fights.
I'm gonna dig that video is buried deeper than Kim Kardashian's second sex tape. That's never seen the light of day.
I know. If you can show me a video, then on my memory.
Delete. I'm sure you guys had some Insta pictures straight deleted those. It's like you burned it from your memory.
No, the Insta photos. You know
that one.
The photos from that comp were sick though. Your Vardies were sick, and the team was stacked.
The team on paper, the dancers
was
insane.
Yeah.
Like what happened? No, serious. What happened?
I think it was a case of like when you almost like get too high off your own supply kind of thing. Like we're getting accolades from obviously everyone in the UK. Abroad, people are messaging like, "Yo, oh my god, Bhangra Teams Forum is going mental over GCC 14." We're like, all right, let's have a look at this live thing then. It's not. What's this about?
Proper Bhangra.
Yeah. Let's get into this as well. Sink our teeth into this one. Grab this trophy and just fucking bounce. But yeah, it just didn't. We didn't like. We had such. Rami had a stat where it was like, if you practice for what was it?
100 hours.
100 hours. He had a spreadsheet. He's like, you practice for 100 hours a set, you will do the set very well.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, right.
But like what was it then? Because obviously you'd need a Dolly, which is Danda and Prince to do Bolia.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't just whack on a mix, be like, all right, 5, 6, 7, 8, let's go.
Yeah.
Actually, now let's rewind that back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's physical.
Yeah.
You turned up in your pajamas one time, or was that 14?
Pajamas. Did I show him in pajamas?
Is there a picture of him? I'm gonna pull that out. Anyway, fuck that. But was it like the practices that were like, it was harder to practice? What was it like?
We didn't practice enough.
Right.
We did not practice enough.
Like, did you guys go in on the day thinking you're going to win it?
No.
Were you confident? Not confident at all.
We had one really good run through video. You know, like coming up to 14 or whatever, you could have so many great run through videos. Like this was sick. It's like building up. Like this is sick. We had one, and that was it. It was like we need to dance this like this on the night. Yeah, it's just.
So how did that feel then?
like back to like reality.
Banter FC.
Yeah, it's like okay, fine, okay, maybe this live thing isn't as easy as what we think it is. Then obviously back to the drawing board. Then
who won that comp? 15.
APPD.
Yeah. Obviously, APPD got a lot of heat because they supposedly just danced the same set that a Punjab team does. I think they had the same Ustad.
Yeah, same.
There was controversy because people were like, oh, you just copied a set. But obviously some people really liked it because you're like, they danced it amazingly. So what are your thoughts on that, generally?
I mean, it's a done thing in Punjab, isn't it?
Yeah, people do the same set like all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think they support it.
Okay, you don't think it's a problem?
No.
But in the UK, say if tomorrow some new team pops up and they dance GCC 14 set and win a comp with it, how would you guys feel about that?
Different.
That's the music.
I think everyone's using the music criteria on the live set, saying, "Oh, you can't do this because in music you can't take someone next man's mix and use it."
Yeah, right. If you like just go on YouTube and you watch like live sets for like 2 hours, within the first half an hour, you'll realize that everything is so similar.
Yeah.
Like you know, it's a done thing. It's a done thing.
Yeah.
And regardless to all of that, they dance the best on the night.
Yeah,
right.
That's the point I was going to make. If you take that set and give it to any UK team, I don't think anyone dances it like that.
Right.
Like you can give the best set in India to any team. If you can't dance it, it's
no, fair point. Okay.
TBC 15 didn't happen, innit?
Yeah,
I remember when I joined the group, I saw some videos of TBC 15 in the Facebook group.
You just scroll back.
Yeah. And I saw,
15.
Yeah, obviously Teg was there. Rav
You
Du.
were starting to
practicing.
Yeah, you lot starting with like some full cast. Remember?
You started with loads, like some
juggling,
jugglies.
like about like
it's in Aston. I've seen this video as well. You need to bury that one as well.
There was a few practice.
Get rid of these videos, man.
it was in Buckingham. Where
Right.
you lot, Buckingham, that venue is cursed, bro. If you think about it, every time GCC practiced there, you guys on Folkstars there as well, innit?
But we won
The
GCC
fuck?
14 out of it.
What are you?
True.
Yeah.
Oh,
John,
John,
yeah.
Nah, it's cursed, bro. Because TBC 16, obviously, that was the first time we joined the team. Yeah.
There's
Obviously,
a video of that.
there actually is still a video of that, unfortunately. But I mean, driving
you know
to
when you watch previous sets, that's the only one I miss. Yeah, I don't watch it. Though.
What?
I go 14, 17, 18. Behind the scenes in 17, 18.
If someone would accept like £1,000 off me to take it off YouTube, I'd pay it.
Yeah.
I would pay it.
I would.
Fuck that set, man. Nah. Bro, like on a normal comp, how much do you spend? £500, £800? There or thereabouts, right?
Man.
Let's call it that. Back in the day, anyway. That comp cost me £2,000.
Wow.
2 bags. Imagine the holidays I could do on that.
Yeah.
Right, 2 bags. I used to. Let me just break it down for the people here, yeah, because my frustration's coming out. I don't give a shit. I would drive from Birmingham an hour and a half to go to Milton Keynes to practice, then be back. Right, but we need to talk about TVC 16, man, because that was a fucking shambles. Like, I feel like there's so much to dig in. I just want to go back to a core memory I've got from that comp. So this was the first time I was going to dance at GCC. I got in the car. I think it was Dundar's car. He was driving. I got in the back, and you were sitting next to me. Obviously, you were captain at this point. And I remember there just being general chit chat about like going into the comp, etc. And one of the things that you said was, "But you know what? TBC 14, that last comp GCC, that can never be topped." So for me, I didn't know how to, process that, knowing that a captain has already maybe seen the limit as TBC 14. Was that the mindset around then that 14 just can't be beaten?
What, between all the choreos or mine?
Yours? Or even all
the choreos, I don't know, but it never got brought up.
Buller mentioned something similar.
Buller said the same thing. I heard it from him as well,
I said it earlier, yeah. GC 14 is the best set to be made.
Right.
To top that, that's not easy. Look, these Hash, Rami and D have been involved in sets post that, and it hasn't even touched it. 2014. So if they can't do it, what was the chance that we were going to do it? And the other thing to mention, by the way, yeah, when you've done a set like say 2014, yeah, and you return to the comp, you're gonna have to beat it in some way. You can't come and bring a set that's not as good as that, because they will compare it to 14 and say no, they shouldn't have it.
Right.
That's just natural. You're either going to beat that set, or I think it actually worked out for the better. Can we say that?
The long game.
We fought 2016 and then went crazy back to back 17-18. Come on.
I'm not.
No, you don't like that.
We're not done with 17. We're not done with 16 yet. But like that set, right? In a set, how many segments do you normally have? 7, 8, 9, something around there. We learnt 30, was it?
Bear.
We learnt 30. How many people came in? Who was choreo? It was yourself, Buller, Jag,
and Prem.
And Prem.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's nuances, man. Look, these 4 choreos, yeah, you got 2 people that were choreoing at Aston and 2 people that were choreoing at UAB.
That's right.
Buller hadn't actually choreoed a full set at that point yet.
At that point, yeah.
Now you've taken Aston, how they were making sets back then. They had a new style, man, compared to any other uni team. I'm talking about the ones that were doing good, like Imperial, UAB. Aston's style was just different in making a set, their mix, all that kind of stuff. Now you've banged these 2 choreos and 2 other choreos together and say, go, John, make a set.
How much of an input did you have? Who was going to lead that year?
I mean, it was like a minor discussion. Just made sense. Yeah, put these guys together.
Yeah, I'm saying this is as a retrospect. Yeah, looking back, you can't just put these 2 choreos doing well. These ones are doing well. Put them together and go make a set.
Unless they've got mad chemistry between each other,
which was non-existent, by the way.
Yeah,
never worked together.
Yeah,
so, and you could tell. You could tell there was no chemistry. There was nothing. And like, I think, you know what? This is just me. I'm just putting it all out there. I'm not taking shots on nothing. But
no.
I don't think you were there at many sessions either, innit?
No, and that was made clear pre the comp even being decided.
But I just think like that's fucked, because you were the guy that I was looking at. Like, you were the captain.
Yeah,
it's you.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. I get that, innit? The guys in the team didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Pre this comp, when I can't remember who I spoke to, it was either D, Hash or Rami, it was one of them, yeah. And they said, "Do you want to do the choreo?" I was like, "Look, I'm down, but I can't dance number 1, and I can't make many practices. This is the situation. Are you cool with that?" And the consensus was yes.
We moved, bro.
You've got 3 other captains there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right. So that was the thinking.
I got a lot of the brunt after, which is fair because the dancers don't know what was happening behind the scenes. Yeah. But I got a lot of the ag after the fact that I wasn't at practices or this kind of. But in my brain, this was laid out before.
Right.
The situation was there anyway.
Right.
And then, like I was saying with the nuances and stuff, you've got 4 people that haven't worked together, and then we've kind of hollered at D, Hash and Rami and said, look, it's mad. Like, there's no ideas here, man. Like, we need like some sort of help in it. There was like, it was refused.
Right.
We're not getting involved.
Oh, really?
You guys do it.
Right.
You guys go for it. That's it. Bang, finish.
So what was that?
Yeah, because
I'm not complaining about that, by the way. Yeah, but that's their opinion, that's their choice in it. Like.
We'd done it. We thought, like, look, where we'd taken control of GCC was at its, I would say, its lowest point, right? Wars 2012 was a good set, danced awfully. 13 was a shambles, like had to like break through like someone's sign. Like, it's just nonsense, right? Like absolute nonsense. And it was just like, we've taken control of a team and it's absolute low. We've used what we believe, not connections, but like Hash was running 14. He had a good connection with Bullo. I knew Teg, blah, blah. And we were pulling dancers from teams just to believe in a vision of 3 guys that have never made an all-guys set, but just saying, look, this is what we did at UOB. GCC is obviously down in the dumps, but come and dance with us, right? We'll all do it together. And we'd taken it from its lowest point, where it's like GCC might not even exist, to its high. And it's like, okay, look, guys, you have what you need. You have Prem in a mixer. You've got guys that have been like working with us, not under us or anything, but like working with us within UOB. Just run it now. You know, we've got you to here.
Enough experience
like,
there.
Do your thing now.
Because Aston lot had won Capital as well.
Yeah, Aston had won Capital at that point, and it was for me. It was like, I don't really feel like working with other people besides Hash and Rami,
right?
Because I've been doing it since 2012 or 2011. 2011 was Puni and me and Rami, right? Yeah. That's where it started.
Yeah.
So you're thinking this is now 4 years worth of work. I've worked with all of these guys, so I'm thinking,
imagine that understanding between them 3.
No, but do you
imagine
feel like
chemistry between those 3?
But they also had to go through like the dumps as well and like work together. I just feel like
in what sense?
In like, I feel like obviously they won in 2011, but that was a process behind that as well from 2009. Because, for sure. Maybe the process had to start with you guys fading together.
I mean, I quit after that, so.
That's a higher point. I'll tell you what I felt when I saw the 4 of them together. There was just resistance on both sides. So if you split them in the 2 UOB guys, the 2 Aston guys, it just felt like there was resistance between them. Like, this is one idea. Oh, just not feeling it, man. Like, just not. Just that.
I remember
this
sessions.
goes back to the type of sets we were making back in the day.
I remember sessions. Jag would be taking a practice, teaching us a segment. We as dancers knew this was never going to be used in the set.
I felt that was always my first comp. I had no idea what was right or wrong. I fully still thought we were going to win that comp, man. I was like, listen, I got the GC sweatshirt. Like, come on, bro. Wait, I didn't even get that, bro. Do you remember? I don't know.
And like, from recruitment, this guy was pinned to be like the next like NS poster boy.
Right, yeah.
Then I was there teaching this guy here, like, bro, yeah. And then it's just like, yo, Ishan, you want to come GCC? Yeah, cool, bro. I'm there. So it's just like, look, the recruitment's there now as well, right? Like, you've got, now you can cherry pick dancers. You say, listen, GCC's calling, all right, I'm going.
I felt sorry for Jag, man, because I felt like he's the guy, he tries hard.
He's got a pure heart.
Yeah, like,
he would give it 50.
I felt so deep, like, you'd see the frustration, he'd be teaching us something, right? And then, I think this was like 2 weeks before. It was about, in Job we do this roll, and it was backwards. And Jag said backwards. I think someone like Rav or someone said we're doing it forwards. And Hardo or someone was like, no, we always do it like this.
This is the thing.
There was like a mini argument about, UOB lot do it like this, and Aston lot do it like this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, bro, this is like,
it was
felt like an intercom. I was like, what? And it was like, and our Jag lost his shit. He was like, yo, if I say we're doing it like this, we're doing it like this. And some people were like, don't even give a shit, we're going to do it my way. I was like, it's fucked. It got
I remember hearing that. I was
next to you, bro.
There was a few of us. There was myself, Hardo, Ravdu,
fucking hell.
a few bro, we were sick of the process. I'd walked in first time 2015 and seen how it should be done. Hardo's seen it with 14 TBS as well, how it should be done. And these were a lot of the discussions we were having post TBC 16. Like, yo, if we're doing this next year, because
that discussion was mad.
Remember all of that discussion?
We need to talk about that.
I was like, yo, with TBS 17, I've seen how Sukhi's done it. Fucking, we need to bring him in. And I was very much like, yo, if we're going to do this, we need to bring him in. But I remember, like, not everyone was convinced. We were like, oh, we don't need Sukhi, we can do it.
Speculation about a new team back then.
Yeah.
Super team.
Like a break-off team.
Like
some bullshit.
Yeah.
That was the original idea, wasn't it?
Super team.
Yeah. For us to move off.
And I think you made the good point. You were like, look, you'll do it, you'll just split the resources and you'll both probably not win.
Yeah.
But beyond that as well, I feel like, look, man, you need to stick together. Everyone, when shit hits the fan, it's very easy to like go off, break up, do this. But I think that's a pussy boy mentality, man. You're together. You're stronger together.
It did not feel together. I think that one's gone off. I'm not sure if the battery's just
We're
dead.
going to touch on getting Sukhi from
I was going to respond to that point.
should.
Just hold on to that point. I want to respond to that.
We should talk about the whole bringing Sukhi over
should use
here.
his phone now.
Yeah.
Randu,
Should we use yours? Because I'm using yours.
we want to talk about bringing Sukhi from NS.
I was going to respond to Ishan's point there as well.
I'm not gonna give
Yeah, I'll fuck you.
To be honest, you guys can keep going for now.
Yeah.
So keep it.
I was going to say, so that whole you're saying about pussy boy mentality when you stick together, you've not been in a team where it's completely toxic, and the best thing to do is to break away because the majority of them are all going the wrong direction. I've seen it when everyone's just like thinking, yeah, this is the right way. I'm trying to convince them, no, this doesn't work.
Where have you seen this?
I've seen it in places before. And it's not worked. And it was a case of obviously in NSBC in 2016 where people didn't really want to listen to me. It was like, I felt as if it was, what should we listen to this kid for? People turning up late to practice, me sort of saying, why you're late? Like, don't worry about it. I was like, if you can't listen to me now or trust what I'm trying to do, then there's no point. So there's obviously frustration there. But obviously you got to take the responsibility for not producing a good set or a good mix either to actually win it on the day. So hold hands up on that fully. But I don't think we had the team sort of spirit there. So on based on that, I think if you got Bhangra that actually are there for each other and sort of you get on, then fair enough, stick together, don't be pussies. But otherwise, it's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously I was still in Yana back then, but I remember like even then around them times, like I'd be linking Hardo, going like nights out with him at uni. So like I felt like outside the Bhangra bubble, we're all still cool. Why is there like this little split that needs to happen? I don't know.
Post like TBC 16, like that for me to this day, like I said, is embarrassing. I will never watch that video. I don't want to watch it. I hate my performance. I hate everything. The mix changed 2 days before. I think Prince did it in the end.
Yeah.
Everything was a fucking shit. Like the worst things you could do for a comp that happened. And like I could feel it on me. Everyone's like, yo, Aman fucked it as well. You should have been like one of the leaders in this team or whatever, dancing better or whatever. So TBS 17 comes around. That comp was there, practice, go home, fuck it. It's like that documentary on Netflix, recent Redeem Team. It's like redemption, man. I gotta smash it now. And I remember, like, I'll always remember this because I remember talking to you and Hash after TBS 17, and you were like, yo, I mean, you were probably one of the best dancers on the night as well. So that's why these were the thoughts I had in my head, like, yo, with Sukhi leading, it works, man. Like, you need a leader, someone that can listen. If you look back, man, the types of Rami is the fucking... they don't take shit. And I know that's what Sukhi brought.
Yeah.
All of that bullshit in 16, it wouldn't happen in 17 if my man's there. I remember having loads of discussions with you, man, and you were like, I'm in an Arin, because you kind of made the decision, you're just not going to dance.
Yeah, so I already decided, I think after 2016, TBC 2016, I was still supporting NSBC because they went on to do Folkstars. But I'd already decided before then I was going to leave the team. I thought, I'm done with this. I'm not going to be able to do it again. I wasn't going to commit to that or anything. But I was still there to support the team. And there was also bits and pieces there as well. Like we didn't get asked to come watch the set, even though we were part of the team. So it was weird. We turned up on the day, we give it everything. But so yeah, it didn't feel like a part of the team. Knew I was going to break away. And then obviously after TBS 17, I was like, I'm either going to stop dancing altogether or we do this breakaway team. It's one or the other. And for me, joining GCC was an option, and obviously staying at NS was already decided. I wasn't going to do that.
And then you came over in 17. Yeah.
That was a process.
A lot
That
of
was
people
a
didn't
big
want Sukhi to
process.
come out.
That's true. That's a great point.
Half the team didn't want. Like we had we went around in a circle. Everyone vote. Are you cool with Sukhi coming over?
It was mainly Simba. that was anti it. They had their disagreement at TBS.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was alright with Simba.
Yeah,
that's what was
so there was.
But you're right, though.
There was that. There was the whole thing of Sukhi will never join GCC.
Yeah.
That was a massive thing. He would never join GCC. He hates GCC. Like the people in like pre-drinks before nights out have been dicks to this guy, or they go up to him and mooch. They start doing this, that, and the other. Like
mainly this guy right here.
Yeah. Like this guy will never come to GCC. That was the general consensus.
Yeah, I remember after TBS 15, Prince was trying to talk to you, bring you over.
Remember this? Do you remember this?
TBS 15.
After TBS,
we were in the hotel lobby. I remember just after the everyone was chilling in the lobby for ages. And you and Prince, because when Prince gets talking, like, he was just trying to convince you. Hardy was like, look, you can carry on doing what you're going to do at NS, but GCC is where you belong, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like the seed was always planted in the back of his head somewhere.
This was after an after party where we all half licked, and there was like Prince, Hash. Were you there as well?
Mate, yeah, I was actually
going at it, and I'm there falling asleep because I was like literally like out of it. And Governor was there. Governor was like, just let him go to sleep now. Is that enough?
Obviously, the natural connection was there because he was at UOB. He was the captain of UOB. He'd worked with Bullard, Hardo, these guys who were, obviously Hardo was going to be mixing in 17 as well. So I remember having loads of convos with you, man. You were like, yo, shall I do it? Shall I not? Because you really weren't sure and you were thinking about what people would think. I was like, just fuck it. People are going to think what they're going to think.
I think the main thing is what people need to remember is that all my mates were part of GCC.
Exactly.
So I was in NS through outside of uni sort of route, but all my boys are in GCC. So that's why I was on these nights out, because all my mates were there, all my uni mates were all part of the team.
Yeah.
So for me, my point of view was like, I want to do this with my mates now, like going forwards. I've tried it with a different team. It's not really worked. I want to have fun with my mates. And I enjoyed it at UOB and thought, well, that's what GCC is going to be like. It's that family sort of atmosphere that I didn't really get in NS.
And what was the setup then in 17? Captains, choreos?
There was one thing before Sukhi actually came over. It was always going to be, not always, but this idea of a breakaway team gained a lot of traction. A lot of traction.
I was fucking pushing that.
Yeah, I remember
I was pushing that
massively.
I was pro that as well.
I was convinced, because I was very staunch on the fact that Sukhi had to do it.
Yeah. I wanted Sukhi to do it. And we had so many discussions, but he didn't want to come to GCC, like just like that. Jump from NS to GCC is not really like a done thing ever. But it got to the point where I was talking to Hardo, and Hardo was like, listen, man, Hardo is so pro GCC as well.
Yeah.
He bunda for GCC. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First guy to put a flag in the ground for GCC is Hardo. He's like, man, GCC just sick. I want to stay at GCC, but we want Sukhi as well. And then it just got to a point where it was going to be you, Buller, and Hardo that might have like led the new team. I remember talking to Buller. I lost like a night's sleep over this at one point. I was like, oh my god, GC's going to disband. Like, this is sick. Like, the team is sick. Why would it disband? I remember talking to Buller, and I said to Buller, listen, I'll make a set with you. Right? That's literally what it got down to. I said, Buller, what's your situation? I said, look, I will make a set with you. Like, me and you will make a set. Hardo is happy to stay or whatever. And then Buller was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm happy to stay at GCC. I think it all hinged on Buller at one point.
Yeah, because Buller was part of these discussions as well. And then we had a GCC meal, didn't we?
Yeah, we had the GCC.
And this is when everyone fucked off to the toilet for
half an hour.
Oh, so awkward.
We need to remember, before this meeting that you guys had, we had several meetings where the plan was that you'd go to this meeting and sort of, what was it? To tell them that we're moving off.
Yeah.
Either bring Sukhi in or...
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan, but obviously you guys came back, had your meeting, and there's a different proposal.
And it worked out in the end.
Was just like, listen, Sukhi, you just come here. Man. Not.
That was the biggest thing, because I remember Buller saying, look, we need Deepak. And I was like, we've had a go, we can do it ourselves. And I think Hardo, obviously, both of them were pro breaking away. But after that meeting, something changed. Obviously, your conversations.
Do you remember if at the meeting, right? So if you were like, yo, I should move forward with the team. And I felt like no one actually gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. I really didn't want to do it. If I'm being honest, I did not want to do it. But just for GCC, like, to stay together, I said to him, I'll make a set with you, Buller, let's do it. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll stay. And then I think it was told to Sukhi. Then everyone was staying, right? And it was just Sukhi that wasn't dancing. And I think, what was it, a week later he called me or something?
So we had a call. I remember us calling, and I'm saying to you, like, if this doesn't work, then that's it. It's done now. It's finished. Like, that would be my last comp. And you're like, oh no, that'd be a shame. Like, There's a few more comps at least. I can't remember that process, that time period. I think I was just thinking about it. I think you gave me a serious call saying, look, seriously, Like we're doing this now. We want you to be part of it. Like,
Yeah.
just seriously consider it.
Yeah, because it was just like, look, it's done. Like the line in the sand has been drawn. Buller is staying. That means all these boys are staying. Hardo like wants to be like GCC. So and I'm choreoing with these guys. So like, come over.
I think what it was the leadership quality. Like Hardo and Buller obviously great in their own respects, but it was that guy that was going to be like, yo, you're doing this, and they're going to listen.
Yeah.
So and it worked, man. Like 17.
Yeah,
Sick.
Really good.
Great ideas as well. I think obviously you contributed to some choreo as well. How much were you involved in terms of choreo and stuff?
Massively.
Really?
So I think we had a discussion about this as well, because I wanted to come into GCC with a certain setup, and you said, look, we've already got a setup now.
Yeah.
If you told me 2 weeks before, we would have sorted this out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we had this like where we can kind of teach other people how to choreo and like keep open it to like Ishan, Sim, this, that, and the other. And Sukhi wanted to keep it quite tight. But I was like, man, like you told me 2 weeks ago, we would have set this up for you.
And then Krish, you did the Jummer that year. Well, you always did the Jummer, man. Everyone,
Special appearance every year.
Yeah, Mr. Jummer, man. But what was it? I think colours weren't taken out of a hat that year, were they?
No. That was a discussion. Like for me, it was like, look, I'm an older guy. I've done these sets. These guys are the future. And I think Sukhi was super anti like picking out of a hat or whatever. I put up no resistance. For me, that's not a battle worth fighting in any slight way. Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, yeah, we'll pick them. Like, we will decide. It's fine. Let's do it.
How was it working with Sukhi?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
really good, man. The first meeting was a little bit like I was trying to gauge like how he thought about stuff. I was a fan of these guys' work at UOB. So I was like, man, like make the GCC sub segment like you did for TBS 17 then.
Yeah,
like, that
insane.
was fire, right? Let's do that. So no, it was a really good meeting. Like it was good to. I think we just clicked straight away.
Yeah, 100%. I think I was always a bit I'm always really nervous about working with new people, which is why I was always like, I want to keep it tight, really reserved. I was like, no, I know these ones, I want to work with them. I was very specific about little things. Even before, I was very specific about how videos get shared, the smallest of things, and we'd clash a bit on that. But like you TBS 17 actually, where you wanted videos, and I was like, no, I'm not sending videos.
Because like, come and watch. I was like, just send me a video, then I'll have a look, and then I can say one or two things. I'll come and watch. And no, just come and watch. I was like, send me video. Even after I left, send me a video.
We've got one rule for everyone. It's only captains, and we're not sending out videos, because I've seen how videos get leaked in the past. I was like, it's happened before in GCC. I was like, I don't want it to happen.
I remember this happened at 15, and you had a whole session. You stopped everyone. You were like, videos have been leaked. This is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Bro, I heard that. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Saying that, this guy gets everyone set. now.
If you want any previews,
Krish Chopra TV, man. That YouTube channel. Shout out Krish Chopra TV, man. But any other thoughts on BF17?
I was going to say, working with Deepak was obviously sick. So obviously, that was the first time we'd worked together. I'd had your feedback previously at TBS. Obviously, really good feedback. So when he gives a different perspective on things, and I think I learned a lot during BF17 from yourself in terms of how the whole set gets created. I think there was a massive learning curve.
I think that where me and him actually like not gained respect for each other, but like thought, like, you know what, you're all right, was backstage at TBS 2017. A massive bunga.
Oh yeah.
Like, God, remember, this guy's at NS, I'm at GCC or whatever. I'm there tying bunga, and they're just like pushing and shoving at the door.
Yeah.
Oh, this
we
is
haven't even touched on
insane.
this.
The committee, right?
The committee issues.
You were there as well. You were the extra guy. It was the bunga was over you.
Yeah, he was the extra guy.
I was there for no reason.
Ty Fulman's.
And then I remember, so we were just there, like, just battling it together. And then after the show as well, he was having a chat with Ram.
Yes.
There was that as well. You've got Jazz standing there. Sukhi's there, like, Ram's like not going at him, but he's saying a few things.
Yeah.
And like, this is your guy, man. Like, jump in. And then I walk up and just like back it a little bit, and then
I remember this. Yeah, I think Ram came up and said what he had to say, and he went. And then I was like, okay, cool, whatever, innit? And then Deepak came to me and said, did Ram say this? And said, yeah. He goes, okay, cool. And I went straight after
I remember
Ram.
you were worked up. You were like,
ran for him and went for him. I was like, okay, no, fair play. And it was. We did have that whole battle backstage together, and that was a whole...
That committee, man.
It was mad, because they were told, we found out after, they were told to keep an eye out on UOB, and you could tell they were doing their job in that sense, because they were constantly at us.
I remember you said the best thing on that night back to the committee, you were like, "This is your show. We're trying to get ready for your show."
Yeah.
But they had a problem with us having an extra helper.
People obviously don't know the story, so obviously probably need to explain. Krish fucked it for us, basically.
So yeah, every team's allowed 2 helpers.
Yeah.
We were obviously struggling, and Krish is
We
like,
had 2. Who was it 2 in 2017?
Oh, we had
just
Boban
me
as well. Boban from GPD.
He was
Right. Tying up bugs,
So he
yeah.
smashed it. Yeah, shout out to Boban as well.
yeah, shout out, Boban.
But yeah, they came in. They were like, "You got too many people," understandably. But we were hearing all sorts that other teams have more than 2
Yeah.
people backstage.
Yeah.
But they were at us from the start. Girls were trying to go to the toilets. They were like saying, "Go back to your, room."
was ridiculous.
Little stuff like that.
And the Europe
Proper.
girls, bare blessed.
Yeah,
not like
proper
Aston
nice.
girls. But all right, BF 18. Now you've just won a comp again. GCC back at the top. Now it's making sure you retain. Yeah, not the same thing. That GCC reputation: first place, sixth place, first place, sixth place. So what was the thinking then? And what was the captaincy makeup? And like, how did it end up?
We backed out of that one. I think that one was where I stopped. I'm not dancing anymore. I'm not currying. And Deepak said the same thing.
Yeah.
I just handed over to Ishan.
Because obviously he smashed it at
Harps,
Aston.
and Suk. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Oh, Harps and Suk were originally in the makeup.
yeah.
So we linked up for Tavern next day, and I remember we had this huge chat about, all right, cool, what's happening to GC18. This is the morning after TBS, isn't it? I remember Hash was like, listen, there's a big Aston trophy on the table, so like should only go like one way, right? And then I was like,
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, cool, safe. And I was like, look, if I want to like create a set, I want to create with like my friends, right, who are like Harpreet and Suk. And upon reflection, I mean, I wanted to get them involved because obviously Suk's my boy. I remember us 3 went downstairs in Tavern. I think one of you maybe took me downstairs and we had a little chat like, yo, seriously, like
These toilet meetings, man.
like, I don't think it's necessarily sensible like risking such a big thing with like obviously Harps and Suk. They didn't prove themselves at TBS
At that
at
point.
all. So I think it would be a big risk. So they were always kept in the loop. I think their ideas were always like allowed forward. But I think it ended up being a prison, isn't it? Like us three. Yeah. So and that was it really.
And
And I had ideas from like 2 days after. I think call like Deepak, like, yo, got this idea, like I want to split half the team, like this Jadra. Then we done the peach and mint thing. Opening with Fumnia concept, like was he Sukhi Dhillon like that, like for a very long time. They just couldn't see it. I mean, Hardo was like, I'm not sure. Hardo's that guy. Is
Those
literally,
big girls smashed it. Yeah, they
but like
added it on.
it was sick. But those ideas came like the week after TBS. We were on it from then, and
so there was still that hunger. Let's get one more.
I was hungry.
I wasn't. I was done.
You were happy with
I think
it?
there was quite a few conversations.
Sukhi
where we
wasn't
had
even
to-
dancing. Then we had to
No.
link up at the Vine, with Prince, Dunda, myself, and Hardo.
Oh, yes. I
Yeah,
remember
to
that.
try and convince Sukhi to dance because Hardo was actually really on it.
Right.
Yeah, and he's sending me
Hardo's
WhatsApps.
on it today.
Hardo's on it.
He was like, yo. But obviously Hardo was like, if Suki's not going to do it, then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah, because
that's his Geordie, innit?
Yeah, he had to dance with Sukhi. So, and then at this point, Prince got back on it to dance with Dunda, and it was like, yo, we linked up.
I don't know what Sukhi fed me and Hardo in 17, TBS 17. We just can't see a comp without him, bro.
and then Sukhi, like, even I think at first practice, he didn't know if he was actually going to dance, but he's like, yo, I'll get in formation, just, But then
Sukhi's like that. It takes a minute, innit? To take his barriers down. A bit convincing.
it happened though.
It did happen. I remember the point at which we were like, "Oh, we got to do this now. We got to dance."
He probably looked at everyone and be like, "You fucking shit, I'm just jumping in."
There was also the thing of AJ had gone co-ed
Right.
in 17, which was just like, oh, they made it. They said they're saying they made a mistake. They're going to bring all guys. I was just like, okay, let's just. We're gonna
Forgot
have
to discuss
have it.
that actually. AJ's winning 16.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Yeah,
Sure.
Good win, man. Good win.
Yeah, AJ fucking
Briefly.
smashed that in it.
smashed
Yeah, I felt bare upset. I was
for choosing the wrong team.
I still remember. I even told this to Aman Danjo afterwards. Like these lot had like smashed it, and we were sharing a changing room with AJ. Went up to Aman and I was like, "Hey man, I saw how you guys opened. Like I thought it was bare sick. This that." And he was like, "Yeah." And you were? I was like, oh,
You get a lot of this, man.
no, but you know what?
You get a lot of this.
I rated it. Now I rate like, and I spoke to him about it. Like when he done a class at West London Bhangra, and his response was like, "Look, I was just embracing like greatness at the time. That's what I felt like." He was like, "That's how I felt like speaking to you." I don't know. Obviously, it's a bit of a dick thing to say, but I was like, "This guy, like, they're being cocky, innit?"
Yeah.
But
No, I don't think that's.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, no.
But also, it's not greatness, really.
I mean,
Like, you know, it's like you've got a comp where GCC, the shambles in the run up to that comp. You've got NS, the struggles at NS that they went through.
I think everyone was a dick backstage back then, though.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot more heated.
Yeah, like I remember even I came up to the comp and like I came to NS standing outside, acting like none of you guys seen me before.
Yeah, but
I think Kunyan came up to me and was like, "Yeah, just remember, like, you know." Basically told me like, "I made you." I was like, "Fucking."
I remember what you said back to him though. You said you're gonna be dancing for me one day. Typical Ishan response.
No, in a way, I mean, we're saying that about what Dan just said too, but it was good though. It's good that this backstage, there's people, you know, with their teams.
Dan was the only one. Like everyone was. Going on
true.
sick.
Everyone, everyone.
NS were going on way more sick than AJ.
Yeah.
Apart from GCC, AJ's that other team that's got like decent mixes, man. Like fire mixes, that dark vibe. I feel like everyone else goes out the fruity.
Rav Chohan,
man. Shout out Rav Chohan.
Yeah, sick mixer.
He's sick. Yeah. Okay. Good. Next thing, I ain't got my phone now to go through my notes, but yeah. Anything else from BF18? Did you do the jumbo again?
Of course.
Oh, BF18?
I remember that.
There were two though, right?
Krish
Yeah.
There were two. Yeah. There were two.
Krish came
Sean,
to do.
actually, you did the first.
I done the first one. You done the second.
Yeah.
Right.
Krish came to do Jumbo, and I remember you injuring yourself, and that was about a few weeks before comp. Do you remember this?
No way.
Luckily day.
Was it Rugby Day?
Because you stayed over at my house the day before.
Oh,
me,
yes,
Me,
yes.
Hardo, Kips were so smashed. We were walking my dog at 4 a.m.
Yes,
in the
yes, I
morning.
remember this.
Yeah, Sukhi fell asleep. And, bro, I can't lie, I was fully barked that whole session next day. And then me and Hardo started that play. You were both there.
Yeah.
I started play fighting with Hardo. I was running up to Hardo and like
Jumping on
I
him.
was like,
that was it.
Jumping on him.
Hardo floored me while I was mid-air, yeah? And I just landed on my knee and I was fucked.
Yeah, and he was actually like
I was
walking like
limping.
this.
I was
We were like,
fucked. I was
fuck's sake.
fucked. That's the only comp like ever injured. I was wearing those knee straps like you lot wear. I was fucked.
Shout out knee straps, man. They're
He
crucial.
does do something.
But yeah, we were learning drummer then 2 weeks before comp. It was on Rockery Day.
Yeah.
I feel like BF18, man. I feel like dancing wise, it just stepped it up.
Yeah, massively.
Quality
That was
of
the
that.
plan though.
Yeah.
Like, the plan was like, look, a bit like what Chris said earlier about 14. When you win, you're trying to aim to win a set back to back. You can never go there with the same game plan. I think people need to get out the idea of
Mindset.
It needs to be better than that set. If you think you need to be better than that set, you're already not thinking in the right place. You need to come up with a completely different strategy, completely different structure, different way of doing things. Because
But that comes under being better.
yeah. Like you can't.
That's what that is.
You can't try and do the same thing twice because as good as you are, you will never win. It had to be different. So the game plan was different. Like it was fast.
And one of the segments, like the BPM, was mad.
Yeah. The way I thought about it was that this is now going to be minute 9 of 16
Right.
of where we start. So we've done the first 8 minutes last year. This is the next 8 minutes.
Right.
So it just had the next 8 minutes cannot be the same as the first 8 minutes. So that was my mindset going into it.
Right.
So like sub mashup came into it and all this kind of madness. And like we did the Millah Jumma the year before that every single team did afterwards. People are still doing it now.
That's one thing I learned a lot by like Korean with Deepak, Nando's and everywhere. It's like, you know, if you want to win again, like you're already at the top, you don't really have anyone else to look up to. So you've got a very hard job because you are your own inspiration.
And
so
everyone wants you to fall.
Yeah, and like everyone else is now copying the trends that we set, but you got to be the person setting
trends.
the next trends. And to do that is hard. And people are still copying trends and still not winning. But because that's not the way to do it. So and since GC 18, the two Jadra thing, loads of teams are doing that now. Loads of people are like fucking around with their Vardis. So many teams are like taking it hype, trying to dance really fast. But it's like, yo, that's 4 years ago now. I think of something new. And this is where if anyone's watching this, if you want to win, that you need to up your game. That's what you need to do. Like, don't look at what GCC done and think we need to do that to win, because you will never beat GCC at being GCC. You need to have your own identity and do that well. And
let's talk about, you know, let's go to 2022 now. Finally had a couple comps, full year of comps post COVID. Let's start off with TBS, man. TBS 22.
that was this year, innit?
That was this year, yeah. Aston won. Sukhi was judging.
Shadow judging this one.
Yeah.
TBS.
Yeah, shadow
Oh, were
judging.
you?
Yeah.
All right, my bad. Yeah, shadow judging then. Aston won, and yeah, there was a lot of noise after, man, from like Leicester that they should have won. Any reflections, thoughts on that?
It was just like,
You know what it was? It was the Aston set as a set was just the best on the night.
Right.
They didn't dance. They danced it okay,
The dancing was terrible.
right?
I have to be honest.
yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But then there were parts where Gurdeep just stole the show.
Gurdeep
he
was very good.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like to the point where I thought he was the best dancer in the country. Like
At that point.
right now.
Well, we were saying that a couple of years before, but we never saw it.
Yeah, he never done it on stage, right?
No,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
You do it in practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the set was just that good. Honestly, like I remember going to the practice being like, "Oh, set's really fun to watch." Like, how my first
Because Leicester, etc., they danced their set very well,
they did.
They did, yeah.
but
Definitely.
it was just their set then, not them.
The set was bang out.
But there's been a lot of noise. I don't know who runs the UK Bhangra memes account. There's been noise. I sent a couple of stories into the
Yeah.
GCC chat, and then
Yeah.
you popped up in the side chat. You were like, "Yo, let's get this podcast going."
Yeah.
Because one of them was like, the question was, how do you come second place? And then the account responded back saying, "Dance like at Gabru Chel Chabileh."
Or some
Yeah, something like that.
I didn't even understand that.
Yeah,
I didn't get it either,
yeah.
but I sent it to you, and you were like, "Yo, let's get this pod going."
What answer that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor me.
I don't think much of TBS. I thought Aston, like we were watching it,
Yeah.
and
We
I
used to, yeah. No, so
I had Aston winning, and that's like there's no bias there. I'd been to their practice. What was it, 2-3 weeks before?
That was like 10 days, bro. It was
10
like,
days
yeah,
before.
very
A few of
close.
us had it close though.
yeah, I had a different opinion, and I spoke to Deepak about it as well because he's judged before.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it. I don't know judging, so I don't know how that works in it. So, but from what I could see, I saw obviously Aston had superior set. It was clear, but to make that many mistakes, this is a Bhangra competition.
Yeah, there were bare mistakes.
It's like how if you're not dancing correctly, how do you win a comp?
Yeah.
So where do you draw that line? Now you've got a set that's just superior, and then you've got a team that's danced very well. Now how do you say this is the one that wins it?
It's to the point where it starts taking away from it, right?
I think
That's really what it comes down to. It's
If the dancing was that
it's
bad.
like, oh my god, this set is amazing, but Jesus, like the dancing is so bad that it's a shambles.
You know, another thing that is a bit biased, and we spoke about this a little bit off top,
Yeah,
but you've already seen it. You've seen the videos.
Yeah.
Like, it's always biased. When the judges' feedback that day, I spoke to Sukhi and dropped him off to his car, yeah? Like, all the judges said the same thing. It was like, you brought something completely different. When I asked Sukhi and, like, Rajveer Kambo about, yo, did you see this mistake, that mistake? Like, when you watch things first time, you just can't
you miss
clock.
it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just can't clock.
miss it.
Yeah.
Like, there were bare mistakes, but...
Yeah.
We said this, so you've always seen that you knew what to
What was
expect.
What to
right?
expect.
We had no idea what to expect. So for us, those mistakes, we didn't clock until you
Yeah.
point them out.
Yeah, and even like this time watching WCB, one of the spoke to Simba, yeah, like when he came, and I was like, yo, Vasta, that they've won this, and Simba was like,
Bare
bro,
mistakes, yeah.
all I
Bare
saw was
mistakes,
mistakes. But obviously, when that's all you know, like even Aman, Aman came to a few practices, like to see Wagwan. So, and obviously we're expecting a certain level. I'd seen Aston in the last few days, and they were like getting so sick. I was like, this is mad.
Yeah.
And for me to see that on the day, I was like, fucking hell. He's like, fucked it. But I knew the set was
Because
best.
we knew the mistake. We could just see the mistakes.
And that's it. But obviously, when you're a judge, I mean, we couldn't ever see it with those clear eyes.
And also, every team will complain after watching the video, pressing pause, rewind that 5 seconds. Let's see that again, innit? Pause that, take a picture in the group chat. Oh, he fucked it here, he fucked. But they're not doing it on what you see on those 8 minutes on the night, right?
On the night, though, I'd have to say, so I watched it together. Leicester, Kings, and Aston. Aston had the most felt to me anyway the most presence on stage, even though making mistakes. Like
I felt like Leicester made an impact on you. Like you were like,
I saw Leicester. I was like, fucking hell, these lot done well. They did do well. They did do well. But on the night, I was like, yo, Aston had that presence. Like especially when they came through with that shisha, it was like this team's they're talking now. But nevertheless, I think.
And then latest comp. What is it? What was it called?
WCB,
World Class Bhangra. 22. Obviously, Vasta won. Sukhi was judging.
Yeah.
How was it? I was judging by the way.
It was good. It was good fun. I think we spoke about this before, where you watch it from a slightly different point of view because you're not just sitting there to enjoy it. Really, try and look out for these different bits and pieces. But it was good. I think it was a good experience.
Vasta deserved winners.
Yeah, 100%.
Quite easily.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Well, what was it that AJ didn't have? Because Dowd, man, great
Set.
lad. Shout out Dowd, but
Big time set. I think Vasta, you watched that, they had loads of bits and pieces. I said the same as well. In the middle, it sort of dipped off a little, got a bit, it was.
What's going on here?
Jumma was too long.
Yeah.
I spoke to them about that. I said Jumma was too long, but it wasn't a bad Jumma. Do you know what I mean? A bad Jumma that goes on too long is catastrophic. Yeah. But it was a good Jumma that just went on too long.
Good idea.
I feel like AJ the set didn't have X factor.
No, as soon as they opened with their, I think it was Jundus or something on stops. As soon as that happened, I thought they didn't have an opening idea. Yeah. That's why they've done that. Is because they didn't have an idea. Yeah. And so when they open with that, it's like, okay, cool, fine. You didn't have no idea for that. Whereas, what you got going on? They had loads of nice, clean bits, but there was nothing new.
Whereas Vasta's opening was quite unique.
Really nice opening. Really, well thought, different. All these things. It's different. What stands out, and they danced it really well as well.
Yeah, Vasta's ending as well, sick.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
good idea.
So many people have tried walking off stage, but the way they done it, they just killed it.
I feel like AJ they danced it well, but it was just like you said, it was a set, wasn't it?
You know what? We're at a point now, like it's like with Bhangra, everything, like things technically always get like better or their energy improves. They had a lot of energy, but they weren't dancing, bro. Like
zero personality.
Nothing. Like that's another thing about when we talked about GC 14, and I think into 17, 18, GCC have always got personality on the team within a Geordie. Like Sukhi and Hado are so sick together, but they don't actually dance that similar as well. Like if you take Sukhi by himself, he has his own personality, and so does Hado. And like Bullard has his own, but you put Bullard with Teg, for example, are so different, they come together in a sick Geordie. Do you know what I'm saying?
But this is what GCC allows for. These are the same dancers that when they danced at uni were then told like dance very similar like that UOB way until it changed a little bit later on. But GCC just allows for personality. Just fucking great dancers, great sets, great mix, like untouchable in the UK, and just go out and have a great time and just show them you're having a great time, and you are.
I feel like the scene's very sorry to cut you off. I feel like the scene is very different now.
It is.
I feel like back then, like, there's a different juice, man. Like now, is it gone too soft? Like, are we gonna see this?
You know what it is? I was thinking about this like on the way here. I think people are doing Bhangra for the wrong reasons. I mean, who am I to say what's right and wrong, right? Like the reason I dance probably completely different to everyone else here and yourself. But I think people now just dance for clout, for the Instagram pic, get a few likes, get a nani off that, this, that. That's it. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're a uni student, that's what you want. You want the clout, you want the popularity, you want to go off to party and be like, yeah, man, look at me. But
yeah, like who's the younger now on the scene? That's like who's the next Sukhi? Who's the next Ishan? Who's the next Deepak?
Couldn't tell you. I don't think anyone's that hungry anymore. Like
there's no hunger. It's right.
I remember like at TBS 17, right? Like I'd spoke to you a few times when I was at uni and yourself. Like at TBS 17, you were ops. Yeah, I wanted to beat you the 100%. Like, but always showed respect to the calm. Now everyone's so fucking pally. I'm not saying you can't be mates, but there's no competitiveness. And when people see a bit of competitiveness come out, you're a fucking dick. No, fuck you. I'm gonna show you why I'm the best here. We don't have that.
It's too nice.
Yeah, we've got Sahib Dhammi just doing his thing, and everyone's letting him doing his thing. Someone else needs to be.
I feel like that is probably one of the only.
Like someone needs to bring him down, and no one even wants to.
Like Govies, etc., Aston, Amrit Bogles at UOB, they need to start bringing the juice now. Really, right?
They need to
bring these teams back.
Another thing I'm hearing, with all these like youngers that I mean, I can't relate to. We're not ready to do TBS now. We need a year just to figure out how to run a team, and we'll come back next year.
Too scared.
Bro, too scared.
So many people scared of failure. It's like just go out for it. Like what happened at GCC or UOB or whatever it might be. We went out there, and if you fuck it, you crack on.
We fucked it 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
you need
to try again.
Exactly. Like too many people are like, I want to dance, Ishan. Like I dance if you're dancing. Like, no, I've had my time. you lot should be brave enough to do it your way.
100%.
And like, for example, in 18, right, I wanted Sukhi to dance so badly and harder. I like had to. But if Sukhi, like, I was still going ahead with it. If Sukhi was dancing or not.
Exactly.
That didn't stop me. If Deepak told me like, yo, Ishan, like, I'm done now. Calm. I'm running this with Sukhi and hops.
That's right. You know, I think what I remember, my experience is I can look at Sukhi. Obviously, I can look at Pullal, Krish. They were my captains, right? But like with Sukhi, it was he didn't really give a fuck what the elders thought. He was like, yo, these are my ideas now. I'm gonna bring them here. This is what I'm gonna do. I remember in 17, I think you and Hash came down. You didn't like the second Kunda segment.
Yeah, they were
He liked it. He was like, yo, I'm gonna stick with it, and it worked on the night. I feel like now people at Aston are probably looking to you too much. You know,
100%.
After Sukhi left, people at UAB were looking to Sukhi too much. It's like the next boy just needs to be like, yo, I'm gonna do it now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think people they want too much help. It's like, are you going to do this?
You got approached for 22. Didn't they ask for help from you recently?
For UOB? Yeah, they did ask. I was
still
doing it at all.
And his last comp was in 17.
And it was like, I think even with professional teams, it's like, oh, you know, when are we going to get this team started? It's like, you go for it. If you're on it so much.
Even GCC, right?
Exactly.
Shouldn't Gurdeep and these lot have gone for it this year?
No, this is what I'm hearing. So if people want to dance so much, we're hearing, oh, you know, we're on it to dance. X1 on it to dance. We've got a team. Go for it then. Like, go for it. You've had an opportunity at university. You've had the opportunity to learn the ropes and learn how to make a set. Then go for it.
100%.
What are you looking at us for?
Do you guys feel like we should have danced at WBC?
If you wanted to, then you could have.
What, GCC?
Yeah. If there's anyone who wants to do it, go ahead.
I don't know, because we've had 4 years of like...
Lull.
Yeah. And I, to be honest, it's a call for like the younger guys to make. Like, I don't know next man from Aston. I don't know next man from UOB. If you feel like you can recruit these guys and you feel they'll be good, bring them in.
There were talks. I mean, I think
the
kids did want to do GC, but it was always like, yo, Ishan, this. I was like, look, bro, like, I'm done.
No one wants to leave. No one wants to like step up and start, okay, let's go for it.
And you know what pisses me off as well? Like after WCB, like Bearman talking like, yeah, man, if GCC were here, we would have won. No, bro, you couldn't have. Like, you couldn't even get a fucking team to comp. Like, you know what? You got to put respect on everyone else that actually. Like, for example, man like Dawood has never won in his life, yeah, but he's been there consistently, trying, coming second, whatever. Like,
and you can tell he's putting like he wants to win, innit? Like, he's putting it in.
Like, the kids, just not even at GC uni scene, they just don't want it enough, and they might think they want it, but when shit hits the fan, they just don't. They're just not on it, and they need to up their game. If otherwise, don't go on. And people online going on so sick, like, yeah, this, that, like, bro, no. Like,
final thing I want to talk about, because fuck it, it's coming to 2 hours, boys. But anyway, final thing I want to talk about, just from a GCC point of view. If there was like a comp in the like coming up, you know, maybe like put the best of the best together, you know, the SPD boys, maybe NJ Warriors, whatever. There's one comp, international comp, GCC. What are you saying? Would you guys feel like we should put a team out to back it, or nothing to prove there, or you think? What do you think?
You're saying like
an all-stars comp, yeah,
from around the world.
From around the world.
I'd love to watch it. Sit in the seat. For me, it's not even about proving or anything. It's more so like the time, dedication, the effort to actually make a set. Like, I'd love to do it. I'd love to make a set. I'd love to work with the lads again. I think it's so much fun when we do it, when we sit down and come with ideas.
It's
so
jokes,
sick. Yeah. And it's like, but have we got the time to do it? So that's always a question rather than do you want to do it? Of course, I'd love to do it, but time's not.
And also, like, that part of your mind that you devote to Bhangra for all those years. Like, I'd be driving, come up with an idea, alright, sick. I'll be sat there,
comes in the
doing
shower.
this, that, like, yeah, like watching TV, okay, you know what, this is actually, let's do this. Like, just coming up with concepts, putting them together, sending them to these boys, coins out, this, that. Like, that part of my mind is been shut off for a few years. Right? Like, since 2018 was that, it's just been closed. Like, have a few ideas, so, nah, just can't be asked to elaborate, and that's it. So
it's not worth that much. I think Bhangra taught me, like, yo, got that creativity's there, use that in other parts, in anything else you want to do. Like,
shout out Apafinia.
Personally, like, I don't think
shout out Savage and Morris. Shout out Bay.
Shout out Smiles Master.
Shout out Sukhi Dhillon.
But yeah, just, I don't know.
I think in 2018 or 2019 that would have been a really good question, because like I would have been up for it, because we'd just done 2018. It's like, okay, look,
what's the next step?
What SPD are coming? There'd be no reason honestly, like, if someone said, "Oh, Vasta competing, AJ competing next year," I'd literally have zero desire.
Yeah,
because
minimal.
So you feel GCC have the best legacy in the UK, Bhangra?
Oh, by like a distance.
We were sick.
It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, by a distance. Like, and I think like really, if you put up that Vasta set against the GCC 18 set, like that was 4 years ago. If those two sets were danced on the same night, with the dancers that the way GC danced 4 years ago, come on,
we
right?
were animals,
like a different level. And then back then it would be a good question, but for the UK now, like I don't want to. It would be. It's too straightforward. AJ haven't done anything for what, a decade?
6 years.
For 6 years? Not relevant, unfortunately. Like, they were good then, but for 6 years they haven't produced a great set or like a good set, in my opinion. So the UK's done. Back then, if you asked us about SPD, NJ, I'd be so...
UK's done. It feels like the UK's done, but like we were saying, these youngers need to start coming through now.
Push up. The youngers need to prove, like, yo, there's a reason, like, they continue to do it.
I think TBS 22 and WCB rather has shown that the scene's still about, still something.
Start of a new era, maybe.
I thought after COVID it was going to be completely right off, but it's still there. Teams are still about. Teams will be made, and people will take over some of the existing teams. So there is still something there. At the moment, it's a bit. It's not the way it used to be before. The sort of competitiveness we had before.
Maybe the start of a new era. Well, do you know what? I think that's good from us, gents. I mean, if you've been tuned in for a couple of hours and you haven't liked or subscribed yet, what the fuck are you doing? So go and do that, boys. Thanks for coming in.
Nice one.
Nice one.
Good stuff.
Yo, my insides are fucking shit.
Trembling.
So
Let's get bear chuckers out. Yeah.
I'll get more.
Right, that's about it from us at Cloud 9000 Studios. Have a safe journey home.
I didn't even see that.
Good night.
That's sick.
Can you hear me still?
This is a good vibe.
Very nice.